a destination, it's a journey. Good evening to everyone present here. I hope you all are doing well. It gives me immense joy to welcome you all to this wonderful event jointly organized by Ask Mentor and Reference Globe. Our strategic partners are Emil, Palnesto, Hackmania. This program is broadcasted by My Startup TV. This 10-day entrepreneurship focused program is to teach students crucial life skills that will help gate this uncertain future. These skills include problem solving, teamwork, empathy, as well as learning to accept failure as a part of the growth process. The 10-day program consists of workshops where some of the most reputed entrepreneurs will be addressing the students about the dynamics of the entrepreneur industry. Let me take this opportunity to give a brief introduction of our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Rajesh Khosla, CEO and President, AG Glasspack. What an honor to have you amongst us, sir. Next, the jury for the event would be Mr. Samir Gupta, the director of Haldi Vita, Mr. Vikram Singh, co-founder and senior director of Renaissance India Investment Advisor, Kashyap Kompella, head trade tar at Voxen University. I must say, the mix of jury members that we have for the event is certainly awe inspiring. Next, for the most crucial part of the whole program, our mentors. For today, we have Urvashi Beg, who is a marketing and communication professional from Email Services and Consultancy. Now, I invite Mr. Rajesh Khosla to address the gathering.
Good evening, everyone. So, we are here today to talk about the journey to entrepreneurship and in the process evolve as a person. So, we start with the first things first. What does it take to start a business, or what does it take to start the entrepreneurship journey? What are the top things that come to your mind when you want to start your journey? When you want to be a business person, the first thing that you need to start business is not money, not capital, but the idea. What is the big idea that can convert into a business? Okay. Can we have show of hands in the chat window so that we know all of us are there with us? Great. Some of you are raising hands. Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Now, when we talk about the big idea, how does this start? Is it, are you born with this, or is it an idea that comes to you from the sky? How do you get this? Let's talk about the basics. Let's keep it simple and let's talk about the basics. To start a business, we need a business idea. Now it doesn't come from the universe to your mind. It comes from the observation that you do in your daily lives. You go back in history and you will be able to relate that all businesses, small or big, were built based on this theory only. And what is that theory? You identify a problem in the society, you identify a problem in your surroundings, you feel capable of providing a solution to that problem, and that is what we call the idea. And that is the first step to start your entrepreneurship journey. Or, if I may say so, that is the first step to start a business. That is ideation. Bringing that idea in your mind by first identifying the problem and then coming up with a solution that to that problem. Now, it may be looking very simple because we come across so many problems that we see the society or our friends or family come across in their daily lives, And in our minds we have hundreds of ideas, if something like this can be done, then it will be a solution and lives will be made easy. But easier said than done. It is not as simple as that. There is a whole process to it, and our conversation today is to enlighten you about that process, is to, you know, open up that process in front of you so that you can relate to it, so that you can take baby steps in your journey to building a business, right? Businesses are built by common people like you and me. You don't need extra gray matter to build a business. What you need is extra grit. What you need is extra tenacity. What you need is extra resilience, right? Now, let's talk about the two basic steps that we were discussing: identifying a problem and coming up with a solution for that problem. But how do you know that this is the problem that needs to be addressed, and how do you know if your solution is the right solution? Identifying the problem comes from the fact that when you see multiple people facing that, when you see a lot of people are going through that, and when you see if I can come up with a solution, their lives would become easy. So, ideation is the process where you generate ideas and solutions for a defined problem. We are not talking about the problems of the universe. We are talking about a defined problem. Always please remember, when you are, trying to set up a business, or when you are making up your mind to be an entrepreneur, always remind yourself that you are not here to change the world. Don't try to do that. You are here to address one small problem. Even if you are able to do that, it's a win win situation. You cannot address all the problems. So we identify one problem, we define it, and we start working towards the solution for that. But easier said than done. The solution process has to go through certain parameters. Now, for example, uh, if you go back in the ages, uh, why would have somebody come up with a shoe or a flipper or a sandal or a chappal? Because they had identified a problem that it is getting uncomfortable to walk with barefoot. So they came up with the idea of making something that will cover the feet so that people can walk easily. Similarly, pick up any product that you are using in your daily lives. It must have started with something like this only. Somebody must have seen a problem and tried to make lives better and come up with a solution for that. Coming to the today's time, COVID times have been an excellent example of the same. People came up with so many different ideas to make lives easier, starting from what we are doing right now, that is having education sitting in the comfort of your homes, to food being delivered, health services being delivered, people setting up ICUs in the homes. All these things were not either existing earlier, and even if they were existing, they were not being used as extensively as they were being done in COVID times. The vaccination itself is a classic example of the solution being provided to the problem. It is not possible for a society to stay in isolation forever, stay in quarantine forever. So we had to come up with a solution wherein people can move out without fearing the virus, right? So I hope you are able to understand when we are talking about ideation, that is identifying the problem and giving the solution. Now, it will not always exist of coming up with a new product. Solution providing does not necessarily mean that you have to come up with a new idea or a new product. Solutioning can be something like during Corona times, lot of factories were idle, and how these garment factories took up sewing of PPE kits, and India became the largest supplier and exporter of PPE kits, right? So the problem there was not only the virus. The problem was lot of factories were shut, people were out of jobs, and these machineries were lying idle. So somebody thought of the idea of converting these factories into PPE kit factories. So this also is ideation, where you are not coming up with a new product, but you are providing a solution to the problem that society is facing, right? Rapido, Dunzo, and lot of services like that were existing, but for document exchange. But during Corona times, they were being used to deliver food, to deliver medicines, and lot of other essentials which people were not using earlier. Work from home, for example, was never seen as a solution. You know, traffic was increasing, number of cars on the roads were increasing, but nobody ever thought that people can sit at home and still work equally efficiently. Now, equally efficiently may not be true in all cases, but it is definitely true in lot of cases, right? So these are few examples of how people have identified a problem and they came up with solution. It was surprising to see that the fitness classes, the yoga classes were flourishing during Corona times online. Nobody had ever thought earlier that you can do yoga looking at somebody online. You always thought you need a physical presence of the trainer, right? If I go back a little in time, there are a lot of products in the last 20, 30 years which people had not even thought of earlier. In earlier days, you had to wait for a working day to withdraw money from the bank. You had to wait to go to the bank physically and withdraw money. We had not imagined as a human race that something called anytime machine, ATM, will exist. But today, we cannot imagine lives without ATM. I don't see now the need of going to the bank. All of us go to the bank maybe once in 2, 3 years. That too, the bank person will come and take the signatures whenever required. Earlier times, there were no mobile phones. There were only landlines. Prior to that, there were no phones also. Somebody somewhere identified the need of communication when people cannot meet regularly or visit each other due to distance. There has to be a machine through which you can communicate. So a phone was invented. Then it was stuck to a landline. Then there was a need felt that when you are moving, when you are in your car, when you are in your train, there should be a device which should allow you to communicate. So mobile phones came up. Now, when we are talking about these examples, it is giving us a clear idea of somebody identified a problem and came up with a solution. But the solution was not in the form that we are using today. The shoes or the chappals or the slippers, the way they may have evolved today is far, far different from the way they were introduced to the mankind in earlier ages. Similarly, mobile phones, when they were introduced, were bulky instruments which were not easy to carry and you cannot put them in your pockets. Even a missed call was chargeable. Incoming call was around 8 rupees and outgoing call was around 16 rupees. So there were eras like that. The point I'm trying to make here is When you come up with a solution which is accepted by the society, which is liked by the human beings, the solution itself keeps on evolving to fulfill the needs of the society. You don't have to come up with a perfect solution. You just have to come up with a direction of the solution, and the solution keeps on improving itself. Now these days you see lot of aggregators. There is Ola, there is Uber. These solutions were not existing earlier. There were lot of taxis available, but there was no way of reaching all of them in one go. So these aggregators gave us the solution. Take the example of redbus.in. There were so many buses flying earlier, but nobody knew. You had to physically go and check and buy ticket. And you had to go to multiple places to buy tickets for different buses. Now here is a website which allows you to buy tickets sitting in the comfort of your home and gives you all the details of the bus operator, the seat availability, the price, the time that it starts, and the expected time of arrival. What is all this? This is unorganized sector made organized, right? Now it can, the way we were saying, it necessarily may not be a new product, right? We have our chief guest here, Mr. Rajesh Khosla. We'll take a small break here and we'll listen to him and we'll resume from here. Major Shetty, over to you.
Now I invite Mr. Rajesh Khosla to address the gathering.
Thank you very much. I just joined a few minutes before. I was listening to a very informative session. So it looks very interesting that all the young peoples, they are quite interested. And because you guys are the future of this country, and we have a big hopes and the country has the big hopes. I was just going through entrepreneurship. She was talking about the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a process of creating a business. It's a process of creating some means of doing something useful for the society. But creating a business is an art. And you know, art is something which is what I say is something God-given, something you create, and something you nurture. And then the entrepreneurship as a ability, as a creativity, as a character, it comes out to be. There is a very big debate that whether this art, whether it is an entrepreneurship or any other thing, is it a God-gifted or it can be created? It's a God-gifted. But then you have to create a circumstance where this God-gifted character, which is almost in every one of us, imbibes and come out in the open to create something useful. So we all have been gifted with the entrepreneurship. The only thing is that in some cases, the entrepreneurship comes up, crops up in some set of circumstances. In the other case, it comes up in other set of circumstances. Very honestly, when I read somebody's statement, I like to share with you guys. They say, where the people saw the wall, I saw the window. Where the people saw the window, I saw the door. Now it's not a very funky statement. It's a very what do you call motivational statement. You people being entrepreneurs, where the people see a wall, you see the window, you see the opportunity where you can look into that. And where the people start looking to the opportunity, you see the door where you can just walk out and grab the opportunity. When I was just listening to what ma'am was talking to you guys, she was talking about Denso, she was talking about Uber, she was talking about Ola, she was talking about other things. These are all the things there were existent. Everybody know there is a taxi service. So people saw the window and somebody opened the door with the new set of opportunities which has come. Some of the facts I may like to tell you. India is the second number of the country in the world where most of the startups have originated. Number one country in the world is USA. Number two country in the world is India. And number three in the world is UK. Now, if you see the number of people with the origin, I don't have a data, but I'm very sure in USA also, the Indian origin people, they must be in a very big number. And even in UK, the Indian origin people must be in the very big number. If I put together all the Indian origin people, probably Indians must be the number one country or number one race in the world with most of the startups, with most of the successful startups, I can say. Even the female ratio in the total entrepreneurship is not less than 35 to 40%. So my wishful thinking and my good wishes to all you guys are, please start looking the things beyond what is visible to all of us. The whole world is open with the opportunity. Every day, 10 opportunities they close down, and every day, 50 more opportunities they open up. I think you all guys have a gene. You all guys have the talent to be entrepreneur. Only thing is that you have to sharpen your entrepreneurship. You have to blossom your entrepreneurship. You just have to put a pressure on yourself so that this creativity, this character in you should come up and start doing something useful and some actionable way so that all the things can come out. The world is full of money. There is absolutely abundant money available in the system. You name the money, it is available. You name the resources, it is available. The only thing is you have to have some idea. You have to have some actionable steps. You have to have something concrete with you. The whole world will be after you with the money. Today, you might have seen the IPO of Zomato. You might have seen where the Ola has gone. Do you think they have any restriction on the money? 100 crore, 500 crore, 2,000 crore, 10,000 crore, 20,000 crore. No dearth of money. No dearth of money. Please open up your mind, put on your shoes, take few steps further. The whole world will be after you. People will start following you. In the times to come, by 2030, only the people which are creative, only the people which are innovative, they will be able to make the money. Rest, all the people will have a very normal life as what you call working in some entrepreneurship with a normal salaries. So our country needs entrepreneurs. Our society needs entrepreneurs. Our new generation needs entrepreneurs. And there is no starting time. It's not like that you are 20, you can be entrepreneur. You can be at 40, you can be entrepreneur. You can be 60, you can be entrepreneur. You can be entrepreneur at any stage of your life. Do you need a money? No, you don't need a money. Do you need any other character? No, you don't need. The only thing, only character is conceive an idea, take actionable steps, and move forward. At this stage of my communication with you, I can say that yes, please go ahead, move ahead. The whole world is with you. So thank you very much with this few lines. And if anything is, you can reach me anytime. You can take my number with from the Startup TV. I am always available. and whatever best I can do for anybody, it will be my pleasure. So thank you very much. I wish all the best to all the participants. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the encouraging words. I'm sure the students will be benefited from it. Over to Urvashi ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Rajesh. That was indeed insightful. And I completely agree when you say there is no age to start. The moment you see a problem and you can come up with a solution, the great entrepreneurs, the history is a witness, have started at the age of 50 and sometimes 60 plus. So there is no age. And you all are at the right age,
Yes.
to start giving thought to it, to start developing your faculties to think in that direction.
Yeah.
Well said, Mr. Khosla.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we were talking about the big idea. I will just share my screen here. So when we are talking about all this, we need to understand, we need to know how to do this process of identifying a problem and then coming up with the solution which is actually doable. So here are a few tips, and this is not a consolidated tip because there is no formula to do this. We all have to go through our own process. What we are trying to do here is give you a broad outline of how you can do it. Right? So the first question that you have to answer is, have you actually identified the problem rightly? Do you know the problem well? Or you need to understand it better? Because if you do not know the problem well, you cannot come up with a solution for that. Even if you know the problem, are you capable enough to provide a solution? How do you judge your capability? You judge your capability based on the resources that you can accumulate. You judge your capability based on the delivery that you can do. Right? Then what will be the cost of making that solution accessible? Now, this is very important, and this is what most of people fail at. What is the cost of making that solution? We are not talking about making of the solution. We are talking about making that solution available to the end user. You may be able to develop a solution, but the cost of distributing it may be higher. So how will you ensure that it reaches the end user? You have to account for all the costs. The cost of not only developing the solution, but also how will this reach the end user? How will you market the idea? How will the end user come to know about it? Then where will the end user buy it? Will you have to have people in between to sell it, or you can do it on your own? Share details of why you actually came up with the idea of this product. Now, this is one point that you will have to keep on revisiting during this whole process. At whatever step or point you are, you have to keep on revisiting. Why are you doing this? Why did you come up with this solution in the first place? Now, you have to see whether the customer will be ready to pay for that. Indirectly, what we are trying to see is whether this solution is affordable, right? Now, when you are talking about all the costs of distribution, marketing, developing the solution, then it has to be profitable. We are not doing a charity here. We are talking about developing a business, which means that when you sell that solution, you should have a profit. And whether this idea is scalable or not. What that means is whether multiple people can use it, whether you can make it available to multiple people. We were taking the example of a shoe. Now, if I make one shoe at a time, which is handmade, it will take a lot of time. So whether it is possible to come up with a machinery which can make multiple units simultaneously, if yes, then this business is scalable, which means that I can produce multiple units and sell to multiple people. If my solution is meant for only one or two people, then the cost will be very high. In that case, either the end user should be ready to pay that kind of a cost. It generally happens in case of interior designer or an architect, or when somebody is building a house for you, or when you hire somebody to build a specific software for you. In those cases, it is one on one and the cost is different because it is being done for one person. But when it is for mass, then it has to be scalable. It has to be used, to be able to be used by multiple people, because businesses run on profit. And this is one point which lot of people miss. We get carried away with our idea, we get more obsessed with the idea, right? And that is when we miss the big point, that whether I am getting enough profits or not. We always keep on pushing, next year the profits will be better. So don't fall in the trap of getting obsessed with your idea. And that is why we are talking about ideation, and that is why we will discuss the validation, how to validate your idea, right? What are the existing solutions available in the market? Is somebody already giving a solution? If yes, then what is that? At what cost? If not, then in future, how easily can people replicate it? For example, Tata wanted to give a car which is affordable by the lower middle class of the society, that is Nano. But by the time they were building it, and by the time they got all the necessary approvals from various state governments, the cost of resources keep went on going up. And eventually they had to almost stop production because one, it was not getting scalable and revenues and profits were not enough. Even though there was no competition, there was a reason there was no competition, because people must have already tried to come up with a product with that pricing and they must have failed, right? So it is very important to see what are the efforts that have already been done in the society by others to bring up a solution like this, right? Again, you have to step away from your own idea to know this. What can be the other possible solutions? That is, can my product be easily replaced? Can somebody come up with a simpler version? If yes, then what are those possibilities? Right? Sometimes we are so obsessed that we make things very difficult in our heads, wherein the solution is actually very simple, right? There is also a joke on this, that crores were spent by NASA to figure out how to carry a pen in space. And then somebody said, how about taking a pencil? Now, though it is a joke, but it summarizes the gist that we have been trying to talk here. Today, when you come up with the solution, tomorrow, if somebody else come up with a simpler version, all your investment in terms of time and money will go waste. Again, the most important, the last but not the least, do you know your end customer, your user well? We call it customer profiling, which means you should actually know, okay, somebody who will use my product is of this age group, this gender, lives in so and so areas or in a house like this. The family profile is this. The person is either doing a job or a business. The person is married or unmarried, has kids or not. That is the detailing of the customer you should have when you are trying to define your end user. That is called customer profiling, right? Now, how will this help you? it will help you only when you are asking the right questions to yourself while innovating. You step beyond the obvious solutions. What looks easy may not be that simple. Uncover unexpected areas of innovation. If entrepreneurship, if setting up a business was that easy, then everybody would have done it. We all are fortunate to be living in today's times when the society in general is more open to the new ideas. Talk about a Dunzo or a Rapido 20 years back, people will not trust. The delivery person will run away with my stuff. What will I do? That would have been the thought process. Today, we are living in a different era where people are more open to accepting new solutions. And government is also now supporting with lot of new themes like Make in India, wherein they are encouraging people to start their own manufacturing units, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Vocal for Local. All these are measures, and the government policies are also now quite pro entrepreneurs, which means overall we are living in the best of the times to come up with new business ideas and create volume and variety. That is, it should be scalable. I'm sure you all know the concept of economies of scale. If your business idea cannot be scaled up, cannot achieve economies of scale, that means you need to relook into it, or you should have a consumer who is ready to pay you extra for a individual solution. Now, what all it takes to be an entrepreneur or to start that journey or to stay invested in the process of ideation. When we start that, we are highly excited. But when we are going through that process, when we come across lot of other opinions, when we see, somebody else is doing it better than us, we tend to give up. Therefore, we say it is the game of patience. You don't have to lose patience. You have to hold your fort to stay invested in what you have started. And that is why the previous questions that we have equipped you with to help you sail through that. You can keep on fine tuning, but keep on working towards the idea. Curiosity, adaptability, connecting with the people, are few of the qualities that you need to inculcate if you are trying to come up with a business idea. Disruption is a very in word today. Any business that can cause disruption is highly acceptable because people are now today open to the new ideas. Urban Clap, for example, is doing that. Dreaming and imagining, the first quality of setting up a business. And you have to be open to experiment. And always remember that it is not about coming up with the right idea, right? It is about generating a wide range of possibilities. So it is not my idea is good, it will click. We are not talking about that. We are talking about my solution is a possibility, and you have to be ready to keep on evolving that solution in the process. Don't be obsessed that this was my original idea, this is how it should be. You have to be adaptable enough to keep on evolving, to keep on changing the idea as you keep on collecting inputs in your journey. And how do you validate whether your idea is good enough, whether you are on the right path or not, whether your idea is big enough? So validation means whether it is doable or not, whether it is profitable or not, and whether it is scalable or not. So first step is brainstorm internally within yourself. It needs a lot of thinking to do this, and then discuss it with the right set of people. Now, each one of you will have to identify your own right set of people. It can be your family or friends if you think they are capable of guiding you in that direction. Now, suppose you're trying to come up with a software and you go and discuss it with your family who doesn't know anything about it, then that is not the right set. So you have to identify who is that right set of people who can give you the right feedback. Then conduct informal interviews with the prospective users whom you think will be using your idea. Review and then decide. And always keep your eye on building a business that people cannot ignore. Right? For some examples we have taken just now, mobile phones, ATMs, we cannot imagine our lives without them. Uber, Ola, we cannot imagine our lives without them, right? Microsoft Teams, Zoom, we cannot imagine lives without them. So build a business that cannot be ignored. With this, I end my talk and I wish you all the best. Over to you, Startup TV.
Thank you, Urvashi. Thank you for that. Now, let me take few, paint certain situations for you, and I would like to hear your thoughts about it. One of the things that we hear when we interact with students is they're kind of in the awe of all these unicorn ideas. Pretty much everyone is chasing a unicorn idea. How practical is that?
There is nothing wrong in that, right? But then you have to, that is why the process of validation, you have to keep on reviewing. You have to discuss it with the right set of people. You have to keep on aligning yourself within the process. There is nothing wrong in that, but aligning yourself to the original question and the answer is important.
Emil is into consulting. Would you like to share as to how does your company work with startups and especially the budding entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs? What kind of services do you provide them?
So when a budding entrepreneur comes to us, we help them with the process of ideation and idea validation. You will be surprised to know that when people come to us, they come with a different idea, and by the time the whole process completes, the whole idea has changed. One thing is that is constant is the original problem and the solution that they came up with. So we help them evolve into the process by taking them through the different process, whether it is profitable or not, how can we make it profitable, identifying who all can be the customers. Sometimes they cannot think beyond a particular line of customers. So we help them go beyond that. Okay, these people can also use these products. So identifying new set of customers, helping them how to reach those customers. Because sometimes lot of startups face this problem. They have an excellent product, but they don't know how to take it to the market. They don't know how to develop it in a manner that multiple people can use it. So we help them set up that whole process and help them take their idea to the market. Sometimes they have a good idea, but it needs a lot of money. So we connect them to the right set of investors who are ready to invest in these kind of ideas, and then we can take it to the market.
Thank you, Urvashi. Thank you for sharing what Emil does. We will now leave the floor to the students. If they have any questions, you can direct it to Urvashi. Urvashi, bear with us for a few more minutes.
No, I'm looking forward. We are talking to young minds, and I'm hoping that they will have a lot of questions. I always tell that the first step to being a good entrepreneur is being inquisitive. You have to, brainstorm, and you have to ask a lot of questions to yourself. And when you get a platform like this, see, today is just day one, and we have 9 more days. Please do a little homework and come up with questions. And I can tell you the most stupid question is the one that is never asked. So never ever feel that this question can be a stupid question. always feel free to discuss, and forums like these are, God's grace, wherein you can just, it is an open forum, nobody is judging you here. You can open up your hearts and ask questions.
As you don't have any questions, we will wind up the event for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you so much.